Hello, you're going to learn about dummy subject.
First, we need to define the word we are working with. A subject, of course, is the focus of the sentence. It's the actor, it's the doer, usually at the beginning of the sentence.
And dummy means artificial, fake, not real. So, the dummy subject is a fake subject, not real subject.
Real subject are things like I, you, that man, the place, that building. They refer to specific people or specific thing.
Dummy subject don't actually refer anything.
And in English, we have two dummy subjects. Our two dummy subjects are it and there.
Let's begin with it. You probably know that it also a pronoun. It happens. It was said. That is a proper subject. It refers to something that was mentioned earlier. Maybe the class or anything.
But compare that to this sentence. It's interesting to learn English. In this sentence, it is not talking about anything specific. There's no actual subject. In this case, it is a dummy subject.
In English, we always need a subject, which is why if we can have the proper subject, we use the dummy subject.
Let's take a closer look on this sentence. It's interesting to learn English. The dummy subject, it, is interesting. And the second part is to learn English. That's a real subject. It's interesting. They are basically the same meaning.
However, we use the dummy subject it with adjective because we want the adjective to be first. Because in English, whatever is earlier in the sentence has greater focus.
So the sentence learning English is interesting. The focus is on learning. It's interesting to learn English. The focus is on interesting.
So we use the dummy subject with adjective to change the focus from our real subject, learning English, to the adjective, the descriptor, interesting.
Now, moving on to the second dummy subject, there. There is always used with be. There is, there, there was, there were. And we use it to describe existence.
There are 5 fingers in the face. There are 7 billion people in the world.
We use there to talk about existence.
If we use the real subject, for example, 7 billion people live in the world, then it's changing the focus to live instead of exist. A slightly different feeling. The most common mistake is there is 2 people. They're trying to focus on the location of the people, not the existence.
So, it's important to remember that locational there, here and there can only be used in the object or complement position. It can only be used at the end of the sentence.
Dummy subject, there, must be used at the beginning of the sentence, the subject position.
If you're reading or listening to the sentence and you hear that at the beginning, you know it's a dummy subject. That's talking about existed. If you hear or see at the end of the sentence, it's talking about location.
It's important that we quickly review the dummy subject, it and there. It is used with adjective to change the focus of the sentence to the adjective instead of proper noun.
For example, it's difficult for me to learn English. There's no actual it. It does not refer to a specific thing. We use there with the be verbs to talk about existence. There has no connection to the location at all.
Before we go, here are some more examples.
It's incredible that he's so handsome.
There is one teacher who is the best in the world.
There is no way his ego could become any bigger.
That's all for today's lesson. Dummy subject, it and there. Maybe we will see you next time and keep learning.